Hark how the bows, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song with joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they bound, raising their sound. Oh, hill and dale, telling the tale. Gaily they ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, merry, merry Christmas. All listened, all without end, their joyful tone to every home.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Vlogmas. Today is December 10th. I can't keep track of the days. Today's December 10th. It's a Friday, and it snowed here today. It was so beautiful. I had to drive up by the mountains to take my son to an appointment, and it was lovely. The roads were heinous. The roads were pretty awful, but it was so gorgeous, and like I so badly wanted to get some video of what it looked like in the canyon I was driving through, but I didn't because I was worried about safe driving, you know, as you should be. But I had my kid in there, my 16-year-old, and I could have handed him the camera, but I was 2 hands on the road trying to not perish in a car accident because seriously, the roads were so bad. But it was just so beautiful. So anyway, good morning. How are y'all? Have you read anything good lately? So I have the tea here ready, and I wanted to chat a little bit about what I'm reading, obviously. So I did start The Leopard Prince. Oh, the tea is ready to be done. It's done steeping. So I did finish, I didn't finish. Put this away. Focus, Crystal. I started reading The Leopard Prince by Elizabeth Hoyt, and I had a little bit of a hard time paying attention. Like, my mind just kept wandering. Sometimes that happens, and I cannot figure out why. Certain audiobooks, I just have a hard time paying attention to. So I stopped that, and I thought it was kind of getting late in the day, and I was kind of feeling like I just wanted to make more progress with reading books, you know? And so I picked up a Wallflower Christmas, which I have the audio for. And I am not sure exactly how far I am into this because I'm on the audio. I think I'm like, I actually don't know, I didn't check. I think I'm like 20 or 30% of the way in, but is it focusing on me? No, there we go. My hair. I wore a hat today, and you can tell that I wore a hat because my hair is like, anyway, you don't care. So I am really enjoying this. Like, I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this because I honestly didn't really know anything about it, but then once I started reading it and I realized that it's Rafe Bowman, so it is the Bowman sisters' brother. He is coming to look for a bride, and he is a rogue, a rake, and a scoundrel, and he's like extremely good looking, very powerful, very confident man. So all of that should be something that would just attract a woman to him. But he has these American ways that the ladies of England are like, you shouldn't offer to shake my hand. So it's interesting. It's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I really like Rafe's character. He definitely is not really, it doesn't bother me, but I have read a few reviews from people who don't like how pushy he is and how he is out here just taking kisses, and you know, there's not much consent. That doesn't bother me in a historical, to be quite honest, unless it's like, I do have one book where that really bothered me that I'm gonna rant about in my least favorite books of the year, but it's one of a very few like that. So it doesn't bother me that he's like not a consent king, just because it's not, I don't know that I really want to get into it in this video. I don't find it offensive. I don't find it harmful. I feel like it's just part of his character. And if all of the men in historicals were like that, I would probably have a huge problem with it, but they're not. And certainly not all of Lisa Kleypa's heroes are like that. But this Rafe, he definitely is the type of guy that's like, oh, how can I win you over? I'll just kiss you. And she's like, no, don't kiss me. And then he's like, but you'll like it. And then he kisses her anyways. And she does like it, you know? So I get how certain readers don't like that. It doesn't bother me, but I'm mentioning that in case it would bother you. So I love being back with the Wallflowers again. Like, it's just such, it feels so comforting, and it just feels like everything that I wanted in what a book I wanted to read. Like, I feel like I'm back with the Wallflowers. All of them are making it, well, almost all of them are making an appearance. We see baby Merritt in here, which is a ton of fun, and it's just delightful. So I don't know if she's going to pull it off enough to be a 5-star read for me, but at the very least, I'm sure it will be a 4-star read because it's just really, really great. Because it snowed, like, now the sun is out and it's so freaking bright outside, and I can't get the lighting in here to be satisfactory. I'm also in a little bit of a different position. Anyway, so that's what I'm reading, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up next. I don't know if, like, I've got these 3 books. These 3 right here are on my Goodreads shelf for currently reading. They're all books that I have started on audio. So obviously The Leopard Prince. I also have Slightly Scandalous by Mary Bellog, which I really want to get back to. I started this one. I checked it out from Hoopla, so I need to read this before my time runs out. And then I also am finishing this series by the end of the year. So this one is When He Was Wicked. This is Francesca's story, and I'm much further along. I just put this in chapter 1. I'm listening to the audio. I'm about 20% into this one too. So I don't know why I have this habit. Like, I didn't dislike these for sure. I feel like sometimes I start an audiobook and then I don't know why I switch to something else, especially if I'm liking it. With The Leopard Prince, I was just struggling to pay attention, and I'm not sure if that was the narrator or what. But anyway, so these are historicals that I need to finish because I want to get these off my Goodreads shelf. Like, does anyone else do that where you put like a ton of books you're currently reading on your Goodreads shelf and then they just sit there? Does that drive anyone else nuts? Because that drives me nuts. So those ones need to get finished. Will I pick one of those next after a Wallflower Christmas? That remains to be seen. Who knows? So, I also started last night, very briefly. I haven't done much physical reading this week because I've just, honestly, I have been pretty much only reading audiobooks, which is fine. You know, life is busy and all that stuff. So, the book that I physically picked up last night, very briefly, before I fell asleep, was Miracle on Ladies' Mile. This is a very short novella by Joanna Shoop. I've talked a lot about Joanna Shoop. I love her writing. I really do. Her books always captivate me almost instantly. Like, there's just something about her words that grips me right away, and I find that so magical and so enjoyable. So every time I start one of her books, I'm like, I'm sure that I'll get sucked into this and I'll really like it. But am I going to... Sometimes the ending in her books has been so massively disappointing for me that I get a little angry. But not all the times. Not all the times. So I have heard good things about this. This is just a really short little Christmas romance. All I really know is the heroine is sort of... it's Gilded Age historical, so it's set in New York. The heroine is sort of poor, and she has this job making window displays, Christmas window displays at a department store in New York City. And one night when she is doing the displays, a man, mysterious, dark, handsome stranger, comes up to where she's making the displays, and he is watching her, and she's sort of caught off guard, and she is a little bit clumsy, and she falls into this little puddle of water as part of her display, and she sort of laughs about it and curtsies to the man, and he just immediately walks away. So, and then he goes and gets a towel from off of the shelves and hands it to her to dry off, and she's like, no, that's okay, I don't think she says I can't afford, but she was like, I can't pay for that just to take something off the shelves, and I can't take it from you because that's stealing. And he's like, oh no, just, I'll pay for it. You go ahead and get dry. So I don't know what I think he is probably high up at the company where she works or something like that. That's what I'm assuming. So it's very fun. I'm very much sucked into it. I just fell asleep too early and couldn't stay up reading, but I want to read that. So those are the two books that I'm reading. They're novellas, so that is probably what this little Vlogmas episode will be about, are those two books. So, okay, let's taste our teas. So today we have some interesting teas. The David's tea is Caribbean Crush, and honestly, when I opened that, it looked like it had like a bunch of like crystallized pineapple or crystallized fruit, you know? So interesting. It smells super tropically. That these teas are so freaking weird. They're just weird, man. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Whatever it's called, the David's tea, and what it looks like, even what it smells like, I'm anticipating a completely different flavor than the one that I get, because I was really thinking like a Caribbean punchy type of flavor. And y'all, you want to know what I think this tea tastes like? I think it tastes like melted gummy worms. I don't like it, to be quite honest. That's weird. Okay, so that's that tea. And then the Adagio one is this Arabica. I don't know how to say that. Arabica? I'm so sorry. You must put up with my terrible pronunciations. Arabica mocha. So I am a little nervous about this tea, honestly. I've loved every Adagio tea. This one has a smell that smells like hay. It smells like hay, like horse feed. Like, I am a horse girl. So, yeah, it smells like hay. Let's taste it. That's interesting. Interesting. This really doesn't have any type of like flavor other than a very herby. I don't know if that's like, it just tastes like tea, like kind of like a wild tea. Like, honestly, you know what this reminds me of? And if you also grew up like I did, then maybe you'll remember this. Like, did y'all ever eat hay when you were a kid? Did you? Do I have anyone out here who pretended to be a horse and ate hay? Like, you chawed on it, you chewed on it a little bit? That's what this reminds me of. It's not bad though. I definitely prefer this over the melted gummy worms. So these are, we got some unusual flavors today. Interesting. And I'm gonna drink that one though, because I do like it. I will say that's definitely my least favorite Adagio tea I've had, but I don't hate it either. It's just, I feel like some of their teas have been so stellar that this one is just sort of like, huh, it tastes like hay. But the melted gummy worm is a no. That's a thank you next. That's a I'll pass on that. That's a no thank you. No, we don't like that. So, all right, it's Friday. I have been running errands all day today, and now it's time to work. So I'll talk to y'all later once I have an update on the books that I've read. Thanks for joining me once again. I love y'all. I hope you're having a great December.
Coffee's boiled. For peace we pray. White Christmas Day. For peace we pray. White Christmas Day. For peace we pray. White Christmas Day. For peace we pray. White Christmas Day.
Hello friends, welcome back. Today is December 12th, and I didn't update you at all yesterday. So once again, I have 4 cups of tea to share with you, which is exciting. I feel like I am extremely close. Let's zoom out a little bit. Also, do you notice anything different about my tree? Yeah, that's right. My 16-year-old son put more lights on it for me because I was complaining about it, which was super nice of him. So now it's completely lit up and it feels much better. I don't know. I'm really liking it. So let's do the tea tasting first, and then I will talk about the book that I read and the books that I'm currently reading. So this is actually yesterday's. This is the 11th. So this one is spiced green. And I'm not a fan of green teas. But this one smells really good. And my son tasted it, my oldest son, and he said it was good. So, and then the David's tea is Forever Nuts. There were so many, like, it was literally just nuts. I don't know. I'm intrigued with that one. So we're going to taste that one first. As always, because I think I'm going to be underwhelmed. This is not bad. It's good. It's still just, like, so sweet. Like, it has that, what I've come to think of, like, a classic David's tea, where it's just, like, so sweet. And like, I didn't even sweeten this. It's just sweet. But like, it does taste nutty. Like, it kind of has a taste of those, you know, like when you go to the mall and they have those cinnamon almonds at the holiday time? Like, it has like a really faint taste of that, but it smells. It smells like that, and it smells really good. So I steeped it for a long time, but like, I wish it was a little stronger. So that one is good. That one is good. It is sweet though, like, whew. Okay, now let's try the spiced green, the Adagio one. And that's actually really good too. It's such a different taste than the David's, because like, this is not sweet at all. It has a really, really nice spicy, like a Christmassy spice that to me kind of overpowers the grassiness of the green tea. So I like this one a lot. These were both really good. This one is definitely the winner in the taste test. So there's the daily tea tasting from yesterday. Now I will talk about the book that I read. So I finished A Wallflower Christmas, finally. This is not a very long book. I loved this so much, I gave it 5 stars. Is this the best Lisa Kleypas novel I've ever read? No. But I just had so much fun reading this, and I really, really loved seeing our wallflowers back all together again. I loved Rafe, who is the hero, who is Lillian and Daisy's brother. And I did talk about him in the first clip, where I felt like he was, you know, not kind of the type of guy that will just go in and like take what he wants and be like, oh, you're gonna like it, you know, like, and I feel like that was all bravado, because when it comes right down to it, he is the type of guy that is with the heroine who he loves, a consent king. And he's like, if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. So I feel like I spoke a little harshly about him. But also, I am talking about that because I know there are readers out there who are watching this where that would bother them. That doesn't bother me one bit. I love that type of hero, and I really loved Rafe. He was a wonderful hero. I loved their romance. I thought it was very sweet. I also really loved the little subplot with Lillian and Marcus. I love Lillian and Marcus. They're one of my favorite couples. They were actually probably my favorite couple in the Wallflower series. I think in later books in the Ravenels, and especially in Devil in Disguise, we see Evie and St. Vincent. I'm always going to call him St. Vincent. We see their romance a little bit more in their older years, and I love them so much as a couple then, but in the Wallflower series, Lillian and Marcus were my favorite. I just loved them. So this was great. This had really cute holiday vibes. I really loved the romance. I just loved being back with the Wallflowers. It just felt like a really warm hug. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was fabulous. Really enjoyed that one. So I think today is actually the last day of the historical romance readathon, and I have one more book that I want to finish for this vlog, and it is actually a really short novella, and it is Miracle on Ladies Mile by Joanna Shoop. I think I mentioned I was reading this before. I can't remember. This vlog is taking like 3 days, I think, for me to film. But this is a really short novella too. It's like a 2-hour read. I'm almost done with it, not quite. I'm going to finish reading it, and then I'll update you with that when I taste my next teas. So today's teas, I'll update you with Miracle on Ladies Mile then. But so I'm loving this so much, and I did not realize that this was basically like a widower romance. So the hero in this owns the department store where the heroine is working. She's making the Christmas displays, and he has a daughter, and he's a widow. And the thing that makes this like especially sort of like heart-wrenching, this series, is that he was completely in love with his wife, like loved and adored her. They had their daughter. He felt like he had it all. He had the complete happiness that he had wanted. And then his wife passed away from cancer, and he's been trying to survive with that, you know, like it talks a little bit about how he interacts with his daughter and how difficult it is for him to do that, to be the kind of dad that he wants to be, because when he looks at her, all he sees is his wife, and it's just so painful for him. So I'm loving this already. I would be very surprised if this isn't a 5-star read for me, honestly. I think it's just beautifully done and just fantastic. So I'm very excited to finish that. And then I feel like I kind of got a little slumpy this week, where I wasn't really loving the books I was reading and wasn't really in a hurry to pick them up, you know, and I think that's largely because I had a few books that were kind of middle of the road for me, which is typical. If that happens to me, I'm just sort of like, oh, well, I think I would rather just scroll TikTok for a minute, which is terrible, but sometimes that's just how life is, you know what I mean? So I have had this book on my radar for quite a while. I think the first person I heard talk about this was Kennedy Ryan. It is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Kennedy Ryan was talking about how this was a second chance romance, and it was like an epic romance. And if Kennedy talks about a book and recommends it, and if she says epic romance, second chance romance, I'm just sort of like, okay, I'm intrigued. But then it kind of got pushed to the back of my mind until I saw a few months ago Chandler from Chandler Ainsley reading it and talking about how much she loved it. And so as soon as I saw Chandler gushing about it, and Chandler doesn't gush about books very often, like she's a lot more critical than I am, you know, but I immediately put it on hold in my library, the audiobook, and it had a huge waiting list for it. So it finally came in, and I've only got a few days left. My hold sadly elapsed for The Leopard Prince. I'll have to find it somewhere else again, because I do want to read that. But I really wanted something different, and I felt like this would just hit the spot, and it was perfect timing. So I am listening to this 7 Days in June. I'm 20% in of the audiobook already. I just barely started it this morning, and I honestly can't stop listening to it. Like, it's all that I want to read. It's all that I want to listen to. This definitely has a little bit of a literary fiction feel to it, in that it's taking quite a while. This is a romance, like I double checked with Chandler, because as soon as I started reading it, I'm like, this feels like it could be just straight literary fiction disguised as a romance, and there's not going to be a HEA. So I literally messaged Chandler and I was like, Chandler, can you please disclose to me if this has a happily ever after? Because if it doesn't, I don't want to read it, because that's just the mood that I'm in. I don't want to. I am very wary. I mean, I talked about this in my last video. I'm very wary of books that are sold as epic romances that aren't from a romance publisher. and that are sort of talked about as an epic romance in people, not that I'm not talking about Kennedy, Ryan, or Chandler, but I've heard this book talked about having an epic romance in the book world. None of those people which are romance readers. So I'm like, look, I just want to know if it has a happily ever after. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll pass on it and read something else. Because right now, I only want books that have HEAs. That's it. That's all I want. I don't want to go in reading something that's epic romance and then one of them dies. Like, no, thank you. I am not here for that emotional trauma right now. I don't want it. So Chandler confirmed to me that yes, this does have a HEA. So I'm very happy about that because this is telling a lot of character backstory and it's just completely compelling. Like, the writing style is so vivid. It's so gripping. I really love, this is a Black romance. It's written by a Black author. I really love the insights that we're getting about Black people who are writers in like the literary world. Like, there's a little bit of commentary on the heroine who writes, basically sounds like paranormal romance, kind of erotic romance, and she's kind of been looked down on. Like, she gets a little bit offended when people call her books fluff. And it's interesting because she was talking about early on in her career when she was trying to sell these books, a lot of publishers said, well, but like where is the struggle? Where's the struggle of the Black American and what they're going through? And she's like, can I just write books with Black love, Black characters who are happy and having good sex and just having a good time? Like, that was basically it. And I really, really loved that message. So I'm absolutely loving this book. I am completely gripped, and I haven't even gotten to the romance yet. So it's 20% in. They literally just barely met, the hero and heroine, at a literary conference, basically a Black literary conference, where she was asked to speak about being a writer of Black romance, and she sees him. And it is very lightly alluded to that they knew each other in the past. So the blurb of the book tells you how they knew each other, how their romance began. But I kind of went into this book just completely blind, just knowing that it was an epic romance, that's all. So I am very much intrigued with this, completely gripped. I'm not going to finish it for this vlog, but it will be in my next Vlogmas. You'll have updates on that. So I just wanted to update you that I am loving it. It is very fun. Like, I'm so happy because it's literally one of those books where I'm like, I don't want to stop listening to it, you know? So that's where I'm at. All right, I'm gonna drink my teas, and then I'm gonna finish the Miracle, the Joanna Shoop one. Cannot remember that title for the life of me. And then I'll come back, review that book really quickly, and taste today's teas for you, and then we'll call it quits on this vlog. So thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in a bit. Hello, my friends. Hello. It is Sunday afternoon, and I have finished Miracle on Ladies' Mile, this very short little holiday novella by Joanna Shoop. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the table. We're back in my studio because it's Sunday and the whole family is home, so you may hear some background noise. But I loved this one. This one was so good. This was 5 out of 5 stars. It's very, very short. I mean, I do think, like, if I really want to be nitpicky, I would have liked to have seen a little longer to the ending. It does feel like it ends a little abruptly, but I'm not really mad at that because everything about this was just so lovely and beautiful. Like, there was so much longing in this book. It was so good. I just loved it. And also, like, the holiday vibes are minimal. Kazi, what are you doing? The only holiday vibes in this are really just that she works at a department store and she is making, like, the holiday display windows. So that part was kind of fun. It felt a little like Miracle on 34th Street. It just kind of had that vibe. Hi, Kazi. Can you smell the teas up there? Oh, no. Oh, no. So that was fun. But it was just such a beautiful story where we have the heroine, this young woman who grew up on basically a farm in a small town and had this beautiful sense of family, and she comes to the big city to make it as like a clothing designer. And so she starts out at this department store, thinks she's going to make her way up. She ends up meeting the hero, who is basically the owner of the department store, and he is definitely known as like gruff and grumpy, but she doesn't know that's who that is initially. He's a widower. He is very much mourning the loss of his wife that he loved. He has a little daughter who he has a very strained relationship with because every time he looks at her, he's reminded of his wife, and It was just beautiful. I loved the heroine. I loved how she sort of stuck up for herself and wasn't really a pushover because of what the hero sort of like lied to her throughout a large part of the book. But it was just lovely. It was beautiful. It was great. This is wonderful, Joanna Shoop. I really loved this. I mean, it's definitely like very short, so I think, you know, I would have loved to have seen it be longer. I would have read a whole book of this, honestly. I just loved these characters. I thought it was great. Loved it. So there we go. We are ending the historical romance readathon, and now I'm going to carry on with 7 Days in June, and I'm not sure what my physical book that I'm going to read is. That's the audiobook I'm listening to. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and save that for the next vlog. You'll have to see what it is. But also, tea tasting. So these are actually today's teas, December 12th. So the Adagio one is Kentucky Bourbon, which I'm a little nervous about. I don't know about that. That smells a little interesting. It does say it has whiskey flavor. Blue cornflowers, Keemun Concerto tea, which I don't even know what that is. Natural candy apple flavor. That's interesting. I'm intrigued with that one. And then the other one, the David's tea, is Unicorn Dream, which I have had before because I love unicorns, but I do not like this flavor last time I had it because it tastes exactly what you think something Unicorn Dreams would taste like, which is basically cotton candy and sugar and not anything that sounds appealing to me as a tea. But look, it comes with these. Let's see if I can show you. Oh no, I dropped it. It comes with these really cute little, look, can you see the little unicorn? Hide my face so it will focus. Focus! Camera, can you not focus on the unicorn? Look, focus. There we go. Isn't that so cute? I picked this out and saved it. And I feel like that's what David's Tea does well, is they have really fun names. They have excellent marketing. Their packaging is beautiful. But their flavors, I don't love them. And like, I don't know, I just don't love them. I don't. So we'll taste it for you because I haven't had it in about a year. Ugh, it just smells... it just smells like sugar water. I'm not a freaking hummingbird. Yeah, like, I don't even know what this tastes like. It literally just tastes like sugar. I mean, I think maybe it would have had a pretty color. Actually, it might have a pretty color. Why did I put it? I should have put this in my clear mug. I don't know. It's sugar water. It's not magical at all. So, let's try the Adagio tea. Okay, so I don't love it. I'm not an alcohol drinker. I don't even know what whiskey tastes like. But I don't hate that. Like, it's just delightfully complex. I don't know. I don't love it. Like, if I were to, like, I've been keeping track of the teas that I've loved that I want to buy. This is not one I would buy. But I also am going to drink this and not just pour it down the drain, which is where this one is going. So, it's good. I like it. Like, you can definitely taste that little apple. Okay, I like that a lot. That's good. Alright, y'all. Thanks for watching this vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see y'all in my next one. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, if you're celebrating, and having some good reads. And if you've made it this far and you'd love to leave me an emoji, how about a polar bear? I think there's a polar bear emoji, because it snowed. Okay? I love y'all. See you in my next video. Goodbye.